Good evening, good day, good morning, wherever you are located. Whole Life Ministry, in conjunction with Royal Advent Television, presents Your Counselor, providing healing for your body, your soul, and your mind. Stay tuned for today's broadcast.
And favor. And right now is today.
Welcome again to Your Counselor. I am that counselor. My name is Dennis Barrow, here to help you go through life and to make some changes in your life so you can live a wholesome life, pleasing and honoring to the Lord. I hope you have enjoyed this day, or you are enjoying this day, for the word tells us this is another day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I hope you are rejoicing, and I hope you are glad. And even though you may be going through some difficult times, remember, God created this day with you in mind. And once you are alive, God did not forget to put the resources that you need to live a successful day today. Today we are dealing with the series Overcoming Discouragement. And we want you to know that even though you may face discouraging situations, they need not overwhelm you. Let us pray. Father, thank you. We honor and we glorify you for this opportunity to serve you, to learn from your word, and to grow while we overcome situations in our lives. Thank you for always being there for us, for always directing and leading us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Today we are continuing, as we said, the discussion on overcoming discouragement. We learned that in life we'll always have problems, we'll always have challenges, and we'll always have disappointments. However, we also learned that they need not overwhelm us, because we have a God who guides and directs us even when we find ourselves in the most difficult situations. We learned also from our last session that discouragement is a conscious awareness of our lack of ability to overcome a difficult situation. We also learned that, hey, whenever I face discouragement, there are two things I need to do. One, reassess my goals, because I said your goals may be set too high. They may be unrealistic. So I need to reassess my goals. And the second thing we said in the last session was we need to reevaluate our responses. So as you reevaluate your responses, you are reevaluating how you respond to the situations that seem to be overwhelming. We also stated that when we face discouragement, our faith is also tested. And whenever our faith is tested, we go through difficult times, because at times we tend to want to walk by sight instead of continuing to walk by faith. And so today I want to deal with another area of this emotion called discouragement. I want us to understand that there are some underlying causes of discouragement. Some underlying causes. And I want to deal with three of them today. Three underlying causes of discouragement. But in order for me to deal with them, I would like to go to the Bible. I would like to go to 2 Kings, chapter 18 and 19. 2 Kings, chapter 18 and 19. However, I would like to start as we look at it, as a matter of fact, I said 2 Kings, I meant 1 Kings, 1 Kings, chapter 18 and 19. We want to look there and we will see something that has happened that has shown that the prophet Elijah, even though a man of God, I want you to get this. Even though he was a man of God, was discouraged to the point where it turned into depression. But the beautiful thing is how God also deals with it. And I want you to see a reason why all of that happened and why it can happen to you also. So let's look at 1 Kings chapter, I want to start from chapter 19. What I'm going to do is rehearse the story in chapter 18 for you. They went up on the mountain, and there on the mountain, Elijah challenged the priests of Baal. 850 of them. What confidence! He said, if Baal is God, then serve him. But if the Lord is God, then we need to serve him. And they decided how they were going to answer the challenge. And so Elisha said, let's have a sacrifice and let's build the altar. Each build an altar. No one used fire. No one used any fuel. However, we're going to call on our gods. And whichever God answers with fire, he is the true God. He is the only God. And so they started. And Elijah said to them, you go first. And so they worked and they worked and they worked. And Elijah was harassing them, so to speak. He was mocking them, telling them that their God may be out of town, their gods may be sleeping, their God may be involved in something else. Speak a little harder, touch yourself, jump a little more, dance a little more. But the Baal God never answered by fire. As a matter of fact, they never answered. And when it was time for the evening sacrifice, Elijah said, it's my turn. I'm talking about confidence in a God that you trust, confidence in a God that you know, confidence in a God who had past performance portfolio, a God who did so much for you in the past that you can look back and see how great he was. And now you can have that confidence to believe he will come true for you again. Elijah did that. And while they were watching, he built an altar of stone. He dug a trench around it. He laid the sacrifice on the altar. Poured 3 barrels of water, filled up the trenches. And then he called on his God. And before he could finish praying, his God, which is our God today, delivered. Fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifice. I want you to see the power of God here. It didn't only consume the sacrifice, it licked up all of the water in the trenches. And not only that, it burnt up the stones that built the altar. What God was saying to all who were there, I am the only God with all power that was given to me. No one has this power. No one is able to do what I can do. And Elijah demonstrated on Mount Carmel with all the confidence that he had in himself and in God. And he looked at the future and said, if this is God, our future is bright. And he said to the people around, the people of God, do not allow any one of the 850 prophets of Baal to escape. Kill them all. What confidence in God. But that was not the only thing he did on Mount Carmel. There was no rain for 3.5 years. And now, while on Mount Carmel, he said to Ahab, hitch up your chariots and ride. Ahab was the king of Israel. Because rain is about to come. He didn't see any clouds. He didn't see anything. But his confidence in himself, and more so his confidence in a God that he served, was so great that without even seeing anything, walking by faith, he can say it was about to rain. He sent his servant 7 times to look to see if there was a cloud. And on the seventh time, the servant came back and said, yes, I see a cloud, the size of a man's fist. And Elijah said, hitch up and let's go, because rain is about to fall. And the Bible tells us that even though Ahab had horses and chariots, Elijah outran them all. What power, what confidence in a God that he had. That's the God he served. And today, I'm inviting you to accept that God with all that power and with all that confidence also. And so it was. Here's where the story turns. You heard about Jezebel. Jezebel was a queen. She was Ahab's wife. But she was wicked. She was an evil person. Conniving person. You see, no one names their children, their daughters, Jezebel. For it stands for something demeaning. And here she was, a wicked worshipper of Baal, but yet being the queen of God's people. What a mess. What a mess. But here is the thing that you need to remember. She was very wicked and very conniving. Elijah knew that. And so when Ahab went home, Ahab went and told Jezebel what Elijah had done. And I read it for you. In 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 1. I really want you to get this. Now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, remember, Elijah, the man of God, great victory on Mount Carmel, rejoicing, confidence in himself. May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them. What was she saying? She was saying to Elijah, by tomorrow, you will be dead. I'm going to see to it that you are dead by tomorrow. Well, I want you to observe something. We're talking about the underlying causes of discouragement. Elijah immediately took his focus from God and placed it on Jezebel, on man. No longer walking by faith, but now walking by sight. The man of God. And sometimes we think that these prophets were perfect. They were not. God demonstrates to us by putting in his word the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we need to remember that we are fallible human beings. And sometimes, just like the prophet, we will mess up. We will go through difficult times and we will become discouraged. But it's no reason to be overwhelmed to the point where we become so depressed. The Bible tells us when Elijah received the message, instead of trusting God with the same confidence he had on Mount Carmel, Elijah ran for his life, scared of Jezebel. And what happened? He left his servant and went another day's journey. And he lay under a broom tree and complained. But he didn't just complain, he wished he was dead. Elijah had isolated himself. He was in deep depression. And Elijah saw no hope for the future. He saw no hope in living. All because Jezebel, that wicked woman, sent a terrible, I would call it a death wish. She put a death wish on his head. And God came, oh what a gracious God we serve. And God provided food for him to eat. And then he provided food again for him to eat. And strengthened with that food, he ran 40 days and 40 nights until he came to the cave. And God asked him, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And Elijah said something. This is what he said. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, broken down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too. I want you to get it. Elijah's focus was no longer on his God, but it was on himself and what was taking place around him. And so it's very important for us to realize, whenever you shift your focus from God, you're no longer walking by faith. You're now walking by sight. And the things that are around you seem so imposing, and it seems as though you will never be able to overcome them. And I'm saying to you, there are three underlying causes for discouragement, and Elijah experienced all three. Let me share them with you. First of all, lack of confidence in God. When Elisha began to run for his life, he no longer, because of what Jezebel said, he no longer focused on God. His confidence in God on the mountain, Mount Carmel, was awesome. To the point where he poured 3 barrels of water on the sacrifice. But now, because Jezebel had spoken, and he knew how terrible she was, his confidence in God disappeared. He no longer focused on God. You cannot focus on man and expect your confidence in God to remain stable. It does not work. You cannot change your focus from God to man and still walk by faith. Now you're walking by sight. And when we walk by sight, we focus on what we see. And what we see may be very, very overcoming to us. May be very dangerous to us. But we have got to remember, that is not the way God designed it for us. He lives in us with His Spirit. He said, without faith, it's impossible to please God. So we have got to learn to walk by faith. In other words, we have got to learn to keep our focus on God. And so our confidence will continue to be in Him. Our confidence will continue to be in His Word. And the promises that God has made in His Word will carry us through. That is what makes the difference. The promises in His Word. And that's why we keep saying to you, get into the Word. Let the Word speak to you. Let the Word guide you. David said, thy word have I hid in my heart, that I may not sin against you. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my pathway. Confidence in God is confidence in His Word, because He Himself is His Word. And when we understand the promises of God, we can claim the promises of God when we get in difficult, discouraging situations. And God is honor bound to honor His Word. Not your word, not my word, but His Word. Elijah took his focus from God, put it on Jezebel, and lost confidence in God. The second idea, that underlying cause of discouragement, lack of confidence in ourselves. Again, Elijah lacked confidence in himself because he saw Jezebel greater than who he was. How did that happen? Again, let's go back to the first one. Lack of confidence in God. How did that happen? Taking my focus from God and putting it on man. When I take my focus from God, who is guiding and directing my life, and put it and give somebody else control of my life, give somebody else control of my emotions, give somebody else control of everything that I do and how I think and where I go, I will never have confidence in myself that I can accomplish and I can overcome. I can't, because I've just given it to someone else. Sometimes we give confidence or we give control of our lives over to other things, not only people. We give it all to alcohol. We give it to drugs. We give it to our supervisors. Some people give it to their spouses and their children. And when you give somebody control over you, you cannot accomplish the things that you need to. Because God has given you the ability to control yourself. Because when we look at the fruit of the Spirit, the last ebb of that fruit is self-control. He has given you that ability. And because He has given you that ability, you have that power from God. You don't give it to other people. Keep your focus on God. And your confidence in Him will grow. And your confidence in yourself will improve. So those are the two of the three that Elijah experienced. And many of us experience the same thing. What's the number 3? Let's look at number 3. The third one is lack of direction for the future. Elijah lost confidence in God. He lost confidence in himself. So what's the purpose of living? Lack of direction for the future. It doesn't make sense living. Because I don't have any confidence in God, and I don't have any confidence in myself. Why would I even want to continue living? Elijah isolated himself. For 40 days he ran, hid in a cave, and wanted to die. Isolation, want to commit suicide. His discouragement had turned now to depression. And his depression was so severe that he wanted to take his own life. I come to you today because I know all of us experience discouragement. All of us go through the difficult times in life. All of us go through challenging situations. All of us go through disappointing situations. And we all have problems, whether at home, on the job, in the marketplace, even at the church. We all have problems. Where's your confidence today? Did you lose confidence in God? What about in yourself? When you look at your life, do you see any hope for the future? Do you? I need to realize, just as much as you need to realize, that every day you wake, God has given you 24 golden boxes representing 24 hours in that day. What you put in each box will determine what you do next. Don't let those hours be wasted with useless and hopeless thinking. Don't waste your time daydreaming because you are going through some issues. Your time allowing those issues to direct you, to continue to give you the assignments that He has in mind for you, and to recognize that every day that you awake, God was not surprised that you would get up that day. He didn't say, oh, I did not know they were going to get up, so I didn't prepare for them. No. What God does is He prepares long beforehand for us. And He provides all the resources we need for every day that He allows us to get up. And that's why we can say, with confidence in God, and with confidence in ourselves, and with hope for a better tomorrow, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. May God bless you as you understand and you consider where you are today with your confidence in God, your confidence in yourself, and the direction you believe God has given you for tomorrow. May God bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you, and may He give you peace. See you next time.